Books are long and writing is hard. Why did nobody tell me this? Hey all, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about writing and how goddamn hard it is. If you have ever undertaken the mammoth task of writing a novel, you'll know that starting out as a newbie writer is really hard, and it's really not surprising that so many people seem to start a book and never finish. There are a swag of challenges that come our way, and I haven't even finished the first draft yet, guys. I put a call out on Twitter and Instagram the other day to see what other writers have struggled with, and I had a really good response, so thank you all if you responded. Some of the responses I received are well beyond where I'm currently at, like editing and querying and writing synopsises. So I just know I've got a whole lot of fun ahead of me. Today though, I'm going to talk about some of the things that I personally have found hardest coming into this whole new world of writing. Number one, choose a pretty big job. As I just said, I haven't even finished my first draft yet, and I already have a list of hard things. As you go through this process, you will learn that writing a book isn't just about writing a book, oddly enough. After you've written a book, you have to edit that book and rewrite it, and then edit it, and then rewrite it, and then edit it, and then rewrite it, and then edit, and then rewrite. And then when you think you have a perfect little book baby, you have to get someone else to edit it, and then rewrite it. And then you have to query and get an agent and write blurbs, and then you have to market the little sucker. Anyway, you get my point. It's a pretty big job, and it's usually not until you're well into the process that you realize that this could take years. And I'm really not saying this to try and put anyone off. It's really just about being realistic. But if you love what you're doing, if you love your story, then 100% stick with it. Totally worth it in the end, so I'm told. The second thing I found really hard about being a newbie writer is finding balance. As a newbie writer, I'm going to assume that you've got a job, or you've got uni, or school, or kids, or a life. Even after you've done all of those things, there are still relationships to look after, and looking after yourself. The point is, if writing isn't the only thing that you've got going on, then it can be really hard to find the time to actually do it. Some people would tell you to forsake all of the other things and just do the writing, but that's really not feasible. Fun story, I actually saw a thread on Twitter the other day where some bloke was telling people that they are not committed to their dreams if they've got a day job. Are you actually serious? Some people do value having a roof over their head as well. Don't quit your day jobs, guys. Keep that roof over your head. The suffering artist is not all it's cracked up to be. That said, there will totally be times where other things need to take a back seat, and balancing those things can be really hard. But one thing to look at is your day. Are there things in your day where you are literally just wasting time? Not using that time to actually relax? You could be doing something else, but you're just not. Perhaps that could be writing time. One thing that I personally have found to be most effective is getting up a bit earlier. By the time I get to the end of a workday, I'm exhausted and I genuinely need that relaxed time. But by getting up earlier, doing things before work, I can get to the end of the day having done some writing, done my workday, and then I can relax guilt-free. Number 3, and this is something that definitely came through on Twitter, and that is thinking that you're not good enough, or self-doubt. Now I'm putting on a little bit of a warning here because there are some semi-harsh words coming up. If you're a newbie writer, and we're being 100% honest, you probably aren't good enough. Yet. I know my writing sure as hell isn't good enough. You're probably not going to sit down, write one draft, and make millions. But that doesn't mean that every time you sit down to write, it's not going to get a little better and a little better. And as you learn about the craft as you watch videos or read books, whether they're on writing or not, you're going to get a little better. And then you'll do a second draft and it'll be a little better than the first, etc., etc., etc. You most certainly don't need to be good enough to start, but you do need to be willing to learn. Read books, watch helpful videos, talk to other writers, and you will improve. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but if you keep going with it, if you keep forging ahead, then you will see results. And if you think your first draft is going to make millions of dollars, good luck with that. Another way that I feel self-doubt can manifest is in comparing yourself to other writers. When you see that someone wrote 15,000 words in a day and you can only write 2, that can make you feel like you're not good enough. There's nothing I can really say to that other than stop. Stop. Stop it. Stop. I said stop. You done? I do realize that that is easier said than done, but you're you, they are them, you're a different person, you're allowed to just be yourself and find the best way that works for you, not the best way that works for someone else. Absolutely take people's advice if it's somebody you admire, but remember, you need to do you. It totally still creeps up on me sometimes, but I feel like I've gotten a lot better at switching that off, and you will too. You just got to practice it like anything else. The fourth thing that can be really hard as a newbie writer is feeling like you're going it alone. Writing has a reputation of being a lonely endeavor, and it doesn't have to be, but the reality is for a lot of us is that we don't have a close writing friend that we can call on. We have people in our day-to-day lives who are interested in how it's going, but they're not so interested that they're going to read the first 20,000 words of your book. A lot of these people often mean really well, but they just don't have any concept of how hard it can be and how long it can take. It's not through any fault of their own, they're just not in this with you. And to be honest, this is something that I struggle with quite a lot. I have heaps of people around me who are really proud of what I'm trying to do, but they still don't know what it's like to try and write a book. They've never done it themselves, so it's kind of fair. My best and most hypocritical advice is to try and seek out some like-minded people. There are heaps of forums all over the place, on Facebook, on Instagram. There are some great communities that you can get involved in. And I've heard fantastic stories about people finding critique partners and really good writing friends through these forums. I don't know that I've quite found one myself, but you gotta keep trying, right? So the moral of the story is writing books can be really hard, it can be really lonely, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. 100% get in there, write that book. I'm pretty sure these points will be relatively universal for a lot of newbie writers, but if there's something else that you as a newbie writer have found really hard, I would love for you to comment down below. Let's sympathize about how hard this can be, whilst still giving it a red hot go. Overall, I think we just need to show ourselves a little bit of grace and to be kind to ourselves and realize that this is a hard thing and go day by day. So that's all I've got for you today. Don't forget I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and reviewing on Goodreads. But for now, keep persevering with your writing. Feel free to chat to me in the comments below. I'm happy to be encouraging. And don't forget to laugh at yourself. I'll see you next time. Bye!